Welcome to the 9th and final day of the Digital Wave stage at the WTSA-24 Expo, and a very happy United Nations Day. United Nations Day, the 24th of October, marks the anniversary of the entry into force in 1945 of the UN Charter, with the ratification of this founding document by the majority of its signatories, including the 5 permanent members of the Security Council. The United Nations officially came into being. United Nations Day, celebrated every year, offers the opportunity to amplify our common agenda and reaffirm the purposes and principles of the UN Charter that have guided us for the past 79 years. With that, I'm very pleased to hand over to our moderator, Roderico, Chief of Staff of the UN Residence Coordinator's Office.
Thank you everyone, and a very happy United Nations Day, the 79th anniversary. India, as we know, has been a founding member of the United Nations. And as we look back on the 79 years, we also look ahead. And as we look forward to the future we want, we also prepare ourselves to be future ready. And it is no coincidence that following the Pact for the Future, the Global Digital Compact, and the Declaration of Future Generations that the UN members of the UN General Assembly adopted in September last year, in India we are celebrating UN Day led by ITU, the oldest UN agency in the UN that has been connecting the world since the dawn of the telegraph in 1865, and is now leading the way on innovation in fields like artificial intelligence, the metaverse, and quantum information technologies to help us create the future we want. And it is my absolute pleasure to invite on the stage Ms. Doreen Bogdan-Martin, Secretary General, United Nations, ITU. Doreen Bogdan-Martin has held leadership positions in the field of international telecommunications policy for over 3 decades, with a track record of brokering innovative partnerships to expand digital inclusion and connectivity for everyone around the world. Following her historic election by ITU member states in September 2022, she became the first woman to ever head the organization. We are proud and privileged to have you here, and congratulations on the spectacular success of WTSA. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Radka, and good afternoon, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and happy United Nations Day. What a pleasure it is to celebrate this special day with all of you here in India on the last day of what will no doubt be one of the most consequential and memorable World Telecommunication Standardization assemblies, I think, in our history. It's precisely this vision of nations coming together on equal footing to reach consensus on the most important challenges of the day that those who ratified the UN Charter 79 years ago dared to pursue. The creation of the United Nations and at the end of World War II called for a new beginning, defined by global cooperation and shared progress. This pivotal period also marked the dawn of a new wave of technological innovation, one that would reshape our world. It was during that same month, October 1945, that Arthur C. Clarke introduced the revolutionary concept of using space satellites for global communications. And around the same time, the television entered our homes and our lives with the release of ITU's first technical standards for that new medium. Meanwhile, the invention of the first transistor in 1947, soon thereafter, laid the foundation of a new digital age, the same year that the ITU joined the United Nations as a specialized agency. Today, As ITU will soon celebrate its 160th anniversary, the world is really on a cusp of a new era, and once again, ITU and the United Nations stand at the forefront. That's why we have a record number of UN agencies here with us at the WTSA. And over the past 10 days, it's flown by, over the past 10 days, we, the ITU, and our UN partners have worked together with member states, with the industry, with the technical and the academic communities to help to shape the future of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, technologies that are fundamentally transforming our relationship with technology and with each other. The new resolution on artificial intelligence that was adopted just yesterday, I think, is a testament to our collective will to harness this powerful technology as a force for good for all of humanity. On this UN Day, let us reflect on all the values that gave rise to and have come to embody the United Nations, from peace and cooperation to solidarity, human rights, inclusion, and sustainability. All these values were on display here throughout the WTSA. But most importantly, let's live out these values each and every day as we work to bring the Global Digital Compact to life with next year's 20-year review of the World Summit on the Information Society and the 2030 deadline for the SDGs fast approaching. For us at the ITU, it means advancing universal connectivity and sustainable digital transformation. It means striking the right balance between the benefits and the risks of emerging technologies. And as we've seen here at WTSA, it means setting the world on a solid path towards a more connected, a more secure, a more trusted and sustainable digital future for all. The UN Charter starts with 7 simple but powerful words. We, the peoples of the United Nations. Each one of us is an heir to this proud and enduring legacy. And as emerging technologies redefine the boundaries of possibility, it's up to us, the peoples of the United Nations, to ensure that they also reaffirm the values that unite us: peace, cooperation, equality, sustainability, and hope. On this day, let's recommit to these ideals and build a world where progress is shared, where the future is secure, and the promise of the United Nations endures for generations to come. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, happy United Nations Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary General, and for reinforcing those very important principles of the UN Charter required more today than perhaps ever before. It is now my extreme pleasure to invite onto stage Mr. Shombi Sharp, UN Resident Coordinator, India. Mr. Sharp has devoted more than 25 years of his career in promoting inclusive and sustainable development internationally, bringing the experience that he has acquired at the United Nations and externally to this position. Prior to India, he most recently served as the UN Resident Coordinator in Armenia, after holding several leadership positions at the United Nations Development Programme, where he was Resident Representative in Armenia, Deputy Resident Representative in Georgia, and Deputy Country Director in Lebanon. Mr. Shombi Sharp.
Thank you so much. Let me begin by appreciating and congratulating Ms. Doreen Bogdan-Martin, ITU Secretary General, for bringing us all together here today, all of the team at ITU, for such a fabulous 10 days of experience sharing and really moving the needle forward on our digital future. I wish to thank all of the United Nations colleagues here today, celebrating jointly as we are this birthday, and everybody here in the room, all of you from different governments, from the host government of India, from different governments, delegations, civil societies, academia, the private sector as well, for joining us here today. It is a very auspicious day for us, as has already been mentioned by the Secretary General. It is UN Day, United Nations Day. So as I like to say here, let me wish you all up sabko UN Day ki hardik shubhkamna hai. Wishing you a very wonderful UN Day. And mujhe ITU WTSA UN Day mein aakar bahut khushi hui. It's very wonderful for all of us to be celebrating UN Day here in this very place at this very moment. So as we consider what does all of this mean, it's a reminder at the very moment when we look across the headlines, when we open up our devices, we see crisis in every direction, whether it's climate change, whether it's conflict, whether it's debt distress, disinformation, misinformation, on and on and on. And a great push against a retreat from international multilateral cooperation. So this is a reminder why international cooperation, why coming together is so vitally important, and especially in creating this digital future where digital technologies can be such a force for prosperity, for peace, for inclusion, and for sustainability, if we make sure that they are. So we are together forging a new kind of multilateralism that can deliver results for people, for all people, everywhere. As was mentioned, the world came together, the leaders of the world, including Honorable Prime Minister Modi, and the leaders of the country delegations here today, came together in New York at the Summit of the Future and agreed on a number of critical measures to be taken in these last few years remaining before 2030. The Pact for the Future, for future generations, and the Global Digital Compact, which speaks directly to this event and everything that has been taking place here for the last 10 days. And also speaks to India, the host country. So I see two very powerful streams of optimism coming together in these times of great challenges. ITU, as was mentioned, the oldest United Nations agency, and I would add a logo that somehow conveys both that history and that retro cool of modernism as well. ITU is perhaps the most emblematic symbol of working together, the very fundamental aspect of communication, the human aspect of communication. And all of the United Nations agencies, the system here today, who will share with us some stories about how they're employing technology to make lives better. So it's very exciting to see that WTSA has taken place here in India for the very first time in Asia, first time in India, first time in Asia. I would say probably not before time. So again, appreciating the decision of ITU for making this happen here and now. Why? Because India has emerged as a global powerhouse in the stage of telecommunications. With one of the largest and the fastest growing markets in the world, India has fully embraced the power of digital transformations, bringing to the world a whole new model of digital public infrastructure, leading to enormous advances in digital inclusion and in digital equity. Advances that through South-South cooperation can be offered, is being offered by India to other countries of the world. And we in the United Nations system is very proud to partner in this journey and to be a partner in this South-South cooperation offer. So throughout this WTSA, I think we have all enjoyed a number of very exciting side events as well, bringing the flavor of what I'm speaking about, the India Mobile Congress, the Network of Women event, the WHO ITU Safe Listening Workshop, the AI for Good India Impact Summit, and so many more offerings that have made this truly a remarkable experience. We in the United Nations system have had 8 different UN agencies showcasing their work in the SDG zone. I can see it right there across from us, including IFAD and UNOPS, UNDP, APCTT, WHO, UNESCO, IOM, and others. A true family event. So I would like to thank all of the agencies for their work and for coming here and spreading the news of how we can together transform lives across the globe. In short, ITU, the UN system, India, and all of the delegations here present are coming together to help create a connected world where no one is left behind. So at this critical moment, let us all reaffirm our commitment. And as the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is calling on us, governments, innovators, civil society, youth, the private sector, coders, all of us to work in common cause for the common good. As we say here, Sathe to Sambhav hai. Together we can. Bahut bahut dhanyavad. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharp, and for recognizing the importance of technology in not leaving the most vulnerable behind. It is now my pleasure to invite Dr. Roderico Ofrin, WHO representative to India. Dr. Ofrin has taken up his position in 2020. I'm going to take a minute to describe you, to give your very impressive CV in 2 lines. Dr. Ofrin, you have a rich experience of over 2 decades in public health and extensive experience and expertise in multiple critical issues impacting the health of people in the 11 member states of WHO CRO, including India that you serve. And before taking this position, Dr. Ofrin was the Regional Emergencies Director for WHO Southeast Asia region. We look forward to your address, Dr. Ofrin.
Thank you very much, Radhika. Ms. Doreen, Bogdan-Martin, Secretary General ITU, Shombi Sharp, our beloved UNRC. Yes, that's the correct title, WHO Representative to India. Previously, you promoted me even digitally to the Regional Director for Southeast Asia. Just very quickly, health for all is digital. I think I'm not even saying that it is the future, but health for all can be achieved only with digital technologies. Next slide, please. What is digital health? It's here. All right. What is digital health? Pardon me with the PowerPoint, but at least there's something that helps you visually as we walk through the story. It's a broad, it's encompassing term for all e-health technologies emerging from the intersection of healthcare and technology. It could be anything from big data, a mobile app, a genomics, AI, robotic surgery. Digital health technologies including wearables, telemedicine, telehealth, there's big difference there. Telemedicine being services, telehealth including training. E-pharmacies have become essential to modern delivery of healthcare. Robotics, AI, blockchain, virtual reality are transforming healthcare. I think there were many sessions here running through discussing this. Digital health, this is just a whole diagram of it, what it encompasses, but I think it is this plethora of different things developing rapidly, which is becoming the challenge for us, and it's becoming the challenge for many countries. So what are challenges? Digital health is evolving rapidly. Every app you have has a new version. Every digital ID, every digital form, every healthcare provider wants their own system. So it's very difficult to bring it together. Now, all of us at WHO, at ITU, our colleagues at the UN, we have to keep up with the pace. It is much driven by the private sector and the technology sector especially. And I think that's where us as a UN agency have to come together to be able to make sense out of this. Integrating health systems with innovative solutions must ensure data security and patient privacy. That is always an issue. Even now, these things that are available online where you have to check your DNA for certain profiles is about data privacy also. Interoperability and quality of data. Even for a country as big as India, moving from one state to another, you have to be able to carry all your health data. That is the future vision. And for that to be usable and accepted in terms of certain standards. In the absence of specific digital health legislation, the current legal framework remains fragmented for digital health. India is a leader in digital health. Digital India campaign aimed at improving access, and this was launched in 2015. The National Health Policy in 2017 envisioned a fully digitalized healthcare system, and the National Digital Health Mission was launched in 2020, even at the height of COVID, because there were many digital applications being used for health during that time. Some examples, these are the stories that are happening in India, for which we have some collaboration, I would say. In India, the UN is very small compared to the whole investment of the country or the talent pool that they have. The Integrated Health Information Platform is a digital integrated platform that enables real-time, almost real-time, nationwide disease surveillance for 40 diseases and conditions. We've tracked COVID through this. We used COVID as an opportunity to push surveillance to become more digital and more efficient through technologies. CoVIN, or for COVID vaccination, or the COVID Vaccination Information Network, is now used for universal immunization. This is developed with UNDP, and the digital module for monitoring adverse effects of immunization was developed by us and handed over to government as an open source digital public good. eSanjeevani is the telemedicine system for the country with over 140 million consults since 2018. Telemanas is the telemedicine application for mental health, a network all across the states, and it's very much used by adolescents for peer counseling and psychological services. An NCD portal for tracking hypertensives and diabetics, and the goal is to track and treat and trace 75 million hypertensives and diabetics by next year. We are now at 45 million, so we're on track. And that is the power also of the digital world. If it is measured, you can track it. If it is not measured, then it's not done. The National Health Insurance Scheme of 500,000 rupees for 500 million people is underpinned by a digital health ecosystem for which there is a specific health ID card, the Aadhaar card, for each citizen. AI in healthcare, just a few examples. AI in radiology, we use this for quicker diagnosis for the TB mission. So the elimination of TB or ending TB effort is helped by AI. Predictive analysis for some of the surveillance data that we get. And personalized treatment is also happening. This is under development in many of the research institutes, tech institutes of India. I think what's next, on offer is WHO's Global Initiative for Digital Health, which is a framework to help countries make sense of the plethora of applications of digital health. Countries may not be ready for all of that. In some countries, it's donor-driven or private sector-driven or private healthcare sector-driven. So you're dealing with many players here that can drive what may not actually deliver health for those who are left behind. So by consolidating digital health progress and enhancing accountability, the Digital Health Initiative aims to bring together a knowledge hub for all countries to be able to tap on best practices and partner with specific countries or donors or tech partners to be able to solve certain solutions, certain problems, local health problems in their context. The goal is really to overcome all these challenges that I've just mentioned. So this is the whole idea. It's a whole stream of collaborations that have an effect on person-centered digital strategies, technical norms and standards for which we are working with the ITU, digital public health infrastructure and architecture, and of course, human resource capacity. I think what's important is the Digital Health Initiative is taking everything into context. It always begins with an assessment at the country for prioritizing what they want to change digitally in their health service and healthcare system. It's aligning national health priorities. Not every country will have all the resources to be able to provide this, and so there is a toolkit around this and how to invest for digital health. Capacity building, local adaptation is the key for responsive digital health application for a country's health system. I think in the interest of time, I will keep moving. The idea is also to democratize health technologies. It is not for private sector alone or very specialized healthcare, but it should come down to a health center, which is pictured here. In some places in the country, you register, the patients register digitally. There is no more paper. So I've seen that myself in many of these health and wellness centers. Just to talk about last is our partnership with ITU. We are natural allies as technical agencies in the area of health and ICT. And we have had several collaborations, be it with Be Healthy, Be Mobile. It's to address non-communicable diseases and remind you to be healthy, standards for safe listening, and to jointly work to improve the quality of health for all through the Global Initiative for Digital Health. Last is just several areas of toolkits, strategies, etc. WHO is very known for this, but as a country office, our goal is to actually translate it down to that last health center, down to that last child that needs that immunization, and everyone be counted to be healthy. So thank you very much. I hope that gave you a bit of a flavor of health and the digital world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ofrin, for illustrating the important role of digital in achieving the health goals. And of course, for your leadership to bring the UN agencies together to support the government for the health work that we do. It is now my pleasure to invite the three speakers to the stage for a photograph. So, Secretary General Shombi, Dr. Ofrin, could you please come to the stage for a photograph? Okay, may I request you to please remain on stage? Please remain on stage. We have another request for another photograph. So could we request for the partners and the other UN agencies that are also going to make their presentations later in the day to please quickly join the dignitaries on the stage for another photograph. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. One more, okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before we move on to the other segment, what is a UN Day without understanding what the UN is? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask some questions, and I need volunteers to give me responses to the questions. I trust you won't Google it, and you know it. And we will have volunteers to bring the mics to you. And for the first person who gets the correct answer, we have a little prize for you. So my first question is, who signed the UN Charter on behalf of India at the San Francisco Conference in 1945? Please put your hands up. Who signed the UN Charter on behalf of India at the San Francisco Conference in 1945? No Googling, no phones. Please put your hand up. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Was it Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru?
No, wrong answer. One more. Gentleman at the back. Wrong answer. Ramaswamy Muralidhar. Correct answer. Ramaswamy Muralidhar signed the charter on behalf of India. Interestingly, he was also the first president of ECOSOC elected in 1946. That is indeed the right answer. My next question. So, sir, could you come here to collect your prize in a little bit? Thank you. Second question. Who is credited with replacing the phrase, all men are born free and equal, to all human beings are born free and equal in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? Shombi, you're not allowed. Not Vijay Lakshmi Pandit. I'm not allowed. Okay, I'm going to ask again. There is a prominent Indian who is credited with replacing the phrase, all men are born free and equal, to all human beings are born free and equal in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Swami Vivekanand.
Wrong. This gentleman has it right. Hansa Mehta is it. That's right. She was only one of the two female candidates in the UN Commission on Human Rights in 1947-48, the other being Eleanor Roosevelt, who was the chairperson. So thank you. Gentlemen, please could you come here to collect your prize in a minute. Thank you. Okay, next question. A lot of these, as you can see, are related to India. Which state has the highest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites? That's right, but you have already got an answer. So I'm going to annul this, and I'm going to ask another question. Who gave the longest speech at the UN? Which Indian gave the longest speech at the UN? Not Mr. Narendra Modi.
Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Not Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Not Mr. Jaishankar. Anyone else? Yes? I can't hear you. Your mic is not working. Shout it loud.
Swami Vivekanand?
Not Swami Vivekanand. Krishna Menon is right. You're right. Please, gentlemen, come here. His statement to the Security Council was given during 3 meetings on 23rd and 24th January 1957. The speech lasted more than 8 hours. So I would like to invite the winners on the stage, and to give away the little prize, I would like to invite Mr. Shombi Sharp and Atsuko to please give our little tokens of appreciation to the 3 winners. Please come to the stage. Okay, we want more women answering questions in the next round. We can't only have men getting prizes. Thank you. This is a special friendship pin. It's the flag of UN in India, not easily available. It's just emotional, emotive on UN Day. So just a nice way of saying Happy UN Day. Thank you. When you wear these pins, remember the partnership between the United Nations and India. And remember WTSA and this day of UN Day being celebrated here. Thank you very much. A big round of applause. Big round of applause, thank you. Now with this, we move on to our next segment, which is about making the pitches. Okay. Now, as we have seen over the last few days, we have witnessed over the last few days the innovative power of technology and how digital solutions are addressing development challenges and how emerging technologies such as AI can power cutting-edge solutions in a whole host of areas. On the other hand, we have also noted the challenges and the urgent need of ensuring that the most vulnerable and the most marginalized do not get further marginalized with the advancement of technology, and the need to exercise caution against bias, disinformation, and misinformation. In this part of the program, we will hear from 4 UN agencies on how they are using innovation and technology in advancing their mandates. And it is my pleasure to invite Ms. Areti Sianni, Chief of Mission UNHCR. She has worked for over 30 years on refugee protection at the country, regional and headquarters level in Europe, Middle East and North Africa, as well as Asia Pacific regions, including in emergency operations. Areti, over to you.
Thank you very much, and a happy UN Day. I promise I will not be speaking for 8 hours, but share a few remarks on the work of UNHCR in the area of digital innovation. First of all, it's a great pleasure to be joining today after 14 days of dialogue, exchange and partnership in action, where we have been looking together at what are some of the key pressing challenges that we are facing and how we can harness technology in a way which enables us to overcome these challenges. And here today, I will be focusing on how technological advances and the advent of artificial intelligence is transforming the way we work with refugees across the world, and with a particular focus on the work we are doing in India. And let me start by stating the obvious, that digital innovation in humanitarian work, especially in refugee protection, which is the area where UNHCR focuses, is evolving very rapidly. And UNHCR is leveraging technological advancements such as an AI, not only as a tool, but also as a force of good, aiming to enhance the protection of refugees, improve service delivery, and empower refugees to find solutions to end their displacement. And at the core of our approach lies the belief that digital innovation can help us serve better vulnerable displaced populations within the broader objective of leaving no one behind. So here in India, one of the main priorities and our focus is on digital inclusion of refugees. And together with ITU, we have formed a very important partnership to look at how we can bridge the digital divide for refugees, recognizing that connectivity is not a luxury, but rather a necessity. And we are starting small, and it's a modest project that I will be describing, starting with a survey to look at, to map, first of all, what are the barriers facing refugees in terms of accessing digital services, and then looking to assess the digital literacy, connectivity and technology usage among refugees in order to be able to build up the relevant tools and platforms that enable refugees to be kept informed about what is happening around their claims and the processing of their asylum claims. And also they are enabled to communicate better with UNHCR and partners and take advantage of the opportunities that the digital world offers when it comes to education and livelihoods. It's a small, modest project, but it's a project that we are very excited seeing, having been putting it in place, and we look forward to see how it's going to shape our future work in this area. Secondly, for UNHCR, communication with communities is at the core of what we do and the core of our work. So we are piloting at the moment AI-driven solutions to improve our responsiveness to refugee needs. And in this context, we are looking as to how to use AI to facilitate the processing of thousands of emails we receive from refugees every month. How AI can help us to categorize, prioritize, and refer individuals to partners and services that they need without delays, but also how AI can help us to, among those who communicate with us, to identify the most vulnerable individuals who might be at risk from a child protection perspective in terms of who might be at risk of gender-based violence and they need immediate assistance. So AI in this context it will not only make our operations more efficient, but it will also make our operations more responsive within the commitment that we have made of being accountable to the populations whom we serve. Thirdly, expanding digital access and empowerment goes beyond the development of platforms or automated systems. And we understand that many refugees face barriers to technology, such as limited access to devices and low digital literacy. So combined with the development of tools, with mapping barriers, we are also looking how to train refugees to develop digital literacy training programs so that the refugees can use digital tools confidently. And we are also looking how we can mobilize resources in order to fund digital hubs, which can serve both refugees and local communities and can provide concrete support in ensuring that any AI-driven solutions are inclusive and accessible to everyone, regardless of their background and abilities. And what we are doing in India corresponds to what is happening globally. And here we see tremendous potential in using AI to solve some of the most complex challenges in refugee protection. So, for example, globally, UNHCR is exploring AI's role in predictive analytics to anticipate population movements and optimize the distribution of aid. We are also looking at how AI could be used to streamline identification processes so that refugees receive assistance quickly and securely. And of course, in doing so, our endeavors are guided by the UN principles for the responsible use of artificial intelligence, whether it is in relation to data protection and ensuring data privacy, human rights protections, and transparency in every aspect of implementation. To conclude, therefore, digital innovation presents an incredible opportunity to reshape humanitarian work and to create more equity while building efficiencies in what we do in response to displaced populations across the world and in India also. By leveraging AI and digital technologies, we can empower refugees, improve service delivery, and uphold the rights of everyone within the commitment of leaving no one behind. So I look forward to continuing the dialogue that is already in place, building on the partnerships that we have, to continue finding ways to see how we can leverage AI and digital technologies to harness their potential for good. Thank you very much, and happy UN Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Areti, and huge round of applause to you. Now, we are running quite short of time, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut short my introductions, and I'm going to request the rest of the speakers to restrict their presentations to 5 minutes. My colleague Julian here has a timer, and unfortunately, you'll be timed out if you don't stick to your time, so please time yourself. I'm very delighted to introduce Dr. Preeti Soni. She is the head of APCTT, the Asian and Pacific Center for Transfer of Technology. Prior to this, she was the head of in UNDP of Climate Change, Resilience and Energy. Preeti, over to you.
Namaste, and a very, very happy UN Day to all of you. I've been asked to restrict my presentation to 5 minutes. I do have a presentation, but I'll run it through very fast to tell you what APCTT is doing, who we are, what we are doing, and also give you some instances of our work in India. Next, please. But just a little context, I think we all know, and that we have been discussing for the past 2 weeks, that technology and innovations are key to our journey to achieving sustainable development and addressing climate change. And if you look at the new and emerging technologies such as AI, IoT, etc., they have the potential to contribute a lot towards achievement of SDGs. According to estimates, 70% of the 169 targets related to SDGs can be enabled through existing new and emerging technologies. So there is a great potential, the market is increasing, and Asia Pacific continues to be moving very fast to becoming a hub of innovations, also pertaining to new and emerging technologies. Asia Pacific is fast growing, it's moving towards SDGs, but the progress is still very slow and varied. On one hand, it is a major contributor to climate change. On the other, it is also very vulnerable to the changes related to climate. Given this, if the Asia-Pacific region moves on its current trajectory, it will actually be only able to achieve what it has envisaged under the SDGs by the year 2065, which is more than 30 years behind schedule. So we really need new and emerging technologies to really make a difference to achievement of SDGs in this area. Regional cooperation plays an important role, and that's where we come in. And we've already talked about partnerships, looking at standards, looking at various new applications of new and emerging technologies for achievement of SDGs. Now, APCTT. APCTT is a regional institute of ESCAP, servicing the 63 member states of Asia Pacific. We work to foster diffusion, development, and transfer of technologies in the Asia Pacific region, including in India. We are based in India since early in Bangalore and since 1993 in Delhi, and we are working very closely with the Government of India as part of a permanent Governance Council member on various issues related to transfer of technologies, particularly new and emerging technologies. I'll just move quickly. Our mandate is to strengthen capacities of member states to develop their innovation systems, to develop, adapt different technologies, and strengthen regional collaboration in different areas. And the overall objective is to achieve SDGs, particularly the 5 that we have focused upon, and it's listed here. given the priorities of the Asia-Pacific region and in India, we are focusing on, and our vision for the next 5 years is enhanced regional cooperation for adoption, diffusion and transfer of new and emerging technologies. So the focus is more on new and emerging technologies for the Asia-Pacific region for addressing climate change and achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. This we do through 3 major activities. One is to foster innovation, work with different partners to foster innovation, and also see how we can scale up these innovations across the region. Second is to create enabling environments, skilling, partnerships, so that we can really see how these can be adopted at a larger scale. And third is to foster inter-country collaboration. Focus is on climate technologies, new and emerging technologies, and digital and emerging technologies are part of our major focus. We work on all technologies. It's basically demand-based from the countries, but currently the focus is on emerging and technologies, especially AI, IoT, etc. All right, just the last slide, I'll just like to mention, there's a modalities are policy and analytical support. There's a lot of work that we do on that. Capacity building, working very closely with the Government of India on technology and innovation. We recently had a big conference on that, and also promoting DPI for sustainable development. Third is technology facilitation, bringing together different partners to a common space, and lastly on knowledge management. So we'll give you this, but
so sorry, but we are running out of time because the next plenary starts at 2:15. So huge round of applause for Preeti. Thank you, Preeti, well done. And sorry we had to cut it slightly short, but thank you for sharing the impressive work that you do. It's now my pleasure to invite the newest country member of the UN country team, Mr. Balakrishna Pisupati, who is the head of UNEP. Please.
Thank you, Ms. Radhika. Very good afternoon and very happy UN Day to all of you. From UNEP, our foray into digitalization are being prepared to look into the future of environmental governance and management using digitalization has started several years ago, but it was actually the 50th anniversary of UNEP that was held in 2022, where the member states actually gave us a new mandate to look into the future of UNEP's work, focusing on 2 main components of it. The first one, looking at the issue of science policy interfaces, and the second one is to look at policy coherence. And digitalization, digital transformation has been identified as one of the key vehicles, key enablers for UNEP to actually move into this space. Responding to that, UNEP have had a number of different initiatives that have been put in place in the last couple of years, including the establishment of the position of a chief digital officer based in Nairobi. But having said that, UNEP's interest, UNEP's focus on using digital technologies, digital transformation related approaches has been quite long. And many of you probably are aware of a number of assessments that the UN Environment Program does, focusing on environment, the Global Environment Outlook report. We also do the assessments related to the biodiversity components of it. We also run the annual adaptation gap report. A number of these reports are currently being developed. But if there is one thing where the digitalization or the digital technology is enabling us to look into the future, but look at some of these assessments much more robustly, much more looking into the future aspects of it, is through digitalization. And what I'd like to do is to mention about 4 different components of our work on digitalization that actually is guiding a lot of UNEP's work. But having said that, one underlying priority that UNEP focuses on is, in as much as UNEP would like to embrace the technology, help countries and stakeholder groups to also use the technologies for better environmental governance and management, it is also to address the environmental impact of the technology per se. Many of us are aware of the environmental impacts of this technology, so that is something which is currently receiving a lot of attention at UNEP. The first element of it I'd like to mention is UNEP's focus on looking at digital public good. And that's where, in as much as we would like to actually engage with India, we would like to learn from India in terms of its great successes in terms of putting the digital public good, the digital public infrastructure in place. The second one is looking at environmental technology for digital technologies for environmental peace building. Is a report that was launched a few months ago that looked at the approaches that countries need to take when you're looking at environmental governance and environmental management, where digitalization, digital technologies actually are fundamental to some of the ways that countries can progress further in dealing with issues of environmental management. The third one is on data governance and management. A lot of our effort is to help countries. As you know, the UN Environment Program works with a number of countries implementing or supporting implementation of the multilateral environmental agreements, where data and information forms are underpins the very basis of progress, either that gets made or that gets assessed as countries move to implement these multilateral environmental agreements. So a large part of our work focuses on helping countries to be more digital savvy, digitally prepared to deal with environmental management in the context of the obligations or the decisions that countries have set for themselves through the multilateral environmental agreement processes. And the last one is to look at equity and inclusivity in the aspect of environment based or digitalization in the context of environment management and governance. So in short, 4 broad areas of our work, but 3 specific initiatives. One, many of you perhaps would have heard about what is called the World Environment Situation Room, which is a real-time environmental assessment platform that UNEP had put in place, helping countries, helping stakeholders track the environment-related issues. The second initiative is the Coalition for Digital Environmental Sustainability, where we bring in a number of different stakeholders, not just environmentalists, but also technologists to come and share their experiences. And the last and final one is using artificial intelligence, something similar to the lines of the ChatGPT and environmental GPT, which has already been tested, which is going to be launched and put in place fairly soon. So we are embracing the technology, but as I said, that one of the very important underpinnings for a lot of our work is also to ensure that the foresight and the future of this technology is environmentally sustainable and environmentally supportive of our elements of sustainable development. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Pisupati. Well in time. Congratulations. Thank you. Before I invite the final speaker onto the stage, a reminder that we have a really, really nice performance coming up. An internationally renowned sitar player and a percussionist with them. So please don't leave the stage. It will be for 20 minutes following the last speaker. And that's my cue to invite the last speaker, Elisabeth Steinmayr, Program Officer, IFAD.
Thank you very much, and I will try to keep it short so we have time for the sitar player. It's really a pleasure to be with you here today to celebrate UN Day and to speak about 2 things that are not very often spoken about together, about smallholder agriculture and innovation, technology, and really futuristic stuff. And that's really exciting, so thank you very much for having us here. As you may know, IFAD is a little bit of a strange animal in the UN system. We're the only fund in the UN family, but we're also the only IFI globally that is solely focusing on agricultural development. And we target specifically smallholder farmers, small producers, women and youth. Our aim is to help farmers increase productivity, access markets, adapt to climate change, and strengthen resilience against economic shocks. We do operate where poverty and hunger are most prevalent, and that is often in the most remote and in the most fragile environments. But on top of all of these challenges that poor rural communities already face, agriculture in itself is really complex. And decision-making needs to take into account nature, ecology, geology, business, markets, finance, you have it, but also social norms and structures. And smallholder farmers must navigate all of these complex realities with very little information available and very little resources. And this is exactly where innovation and technology become essential. For example, in some of our projects in Ethiopia and Rwanda, real-time digital advisory services provide weather forecasts and crop management guidance to 130,000 farmers. And this now helps them to adapt to shifting weather patterns, improve yields, and their food security. Innovation also facilitates coordination across value chains and bridges gaps in finance and services. A key example is, of course, India's Unified Payment Interface, the UPI, the coolest thing I've seen since I arrived in India. And this really revolutionized financial transactions. Digital platforms can now connect farmers with loans, insurance, and markets tailored to their needs, inspired by fintech models. These platforms are making financial services more accessible, empowering farmers and linking them more effectively with value chains. And of course, there's huge potential in artificial intelligence, both to empower our target group and to support our own business processes. And AI enhances access to customized knowledge, helping transform agricultural systems through better crop yield predictions, optimized resource use, and early detection of diseases and pests. I mean, just imagine being a farmer in a remote area in the northeast or part of a PVTG in Odisha, and now you have access to information about when to sow your crop or how to treat a pest just by clicking a picture of the pest on your plant. Or maybe you know the latest market price while you're negotiating with a buyer. And this, as it might not seem much, but this is incredibly empowering for our target group. In Nigeria, IFAD is already partnering with Digital Green to test models like this, like a chatbot where you can input these kind of questions. Often you don't even have to be literate because those models are just audio-based, and they speak in local languages and dialects, so you can just ask a question and get the right tailored information. Another really good example comes from Indonesia. Here, IFAD has partnered with UNDP to bring artificial intelligence really into the heart of rural development and participatory planning. We have developed a digital listening tool that is part of the broader social innovation platform. And this tool, similarly to the chatbot, it empowers communities by being able to input your questions, your aspirations, pictures, ideas into the chatbot, and the chatbot will come up with an idea for your community. It will identify challenges, but also opportunities. And this will also be captured in village development plans for mid and long-term development. So that's really exciting and really helpful in Indonesia. I'm not going to speak about our corporate use of AI, which I think a lot of our organizations share in the interest of time. Looking ahead, IFAD's ITC4D strategy will further integrate, of course, AI and digital solutions into agriculture, and these technologies will help us to advance our analytics, our M&E, our policy making, and our overall design and implementation of projects. So for IFAD, innovation really means using technologies to empower small-scale farmers with tools and knowledge they need to grow their businesses and to strengthen communities and build resilience. As we celebrate and reflect today on UN Day, we remain committed to ensuring these solutions are inclusive and responsive, helping rural communities thrive in this rapidly changing world.
Thank you, Elisabeth. Big round of applause for all the speakers. Thank you so much. Now, as we prepare for the artists to set the stage, I will use the opportunity to ask the remaining part of my questions. So my next question, which international day was proposed by Prime Minister Modi in his address to the UN General Assembly in 2014?
United Nations Yoga Day.
I heard a woman, which I haven't heard in the last few. Where did the sound come from?
Ma'am.
Yeah, okay, so you're right. Thank you. Okay, I think I have time for one more question. Okay. Who is the first, and Roderico, you can't answer this. Who is the first female and the first Asian president of the World Health Assembly? The first female and the first Asian president of the World Health Assembly.
Is it Vijay Lakshmi Pandit?
No. She was actually the head of the UN General Assembly, but not the World Health Assembly.
Dr. Soumya Swaminathan?
No. I can't hear you. Could you Could you use the mic?
Dr.
please?
Saima?
No. That's right, that's right. Independent India's first health minister, Rajkumari Amrit Kaur. So could you quickly come up here to get your two little prizes, the two gentlemen, and one gentleman and one lady. Mr. Sharp, Atsuko, could I request you to please hand over these two little flags? Thank you. Could we have the next one, please? Thank you very much. I think a lesson for everyone to do some more UN history reading that we have been doing so far. Not too many responses and a number of wrong responses, including from the UN. So let's think about that a little bit. Okay, I can see the artists are setting up. Namaskar, welcome. It is my pleasure to introduce Asim Ahmed Alvi, an internationally renowned sitar player. Mr. Alvi was born into the 6th generation of a family of classical Indian music and began his musical journey at the age of 6. He studied Indian traditional music under the guidance of his father, Ustad Sayyid Ahmed Alvi and Ustad Mohsin Ali Khan. Under their tutelage, he honed his sitar playing skills and later mastered the art under the well-known genius Padma Shri Ustad Shahid Parvez Khan. Over to you. Thank you. Enjoy the performance.
Hope you guys are doing fine. Are you guys doing good? Thank you very much. Well, as already the good lady was asking, got us names through, we are called the Sitar Saga. He's Azim Ahmed Alvi. My name is Glenn Fernandez. And we made this band for a long time, and then we thought we'll release an EP soon. So we thought we'll make it, and this whole year has been going just trying to design the album. And then we made these songs that we try to do more and more. So we designed this first song that we're going to play now. This is our original song. It's called Aas. It's an Urdu word which means hope. So this one is for all of you. Thank you very much. So a while back, before the COVID was there, and we couldn't meet a lot of people. We were in Mexico, touring with the band, and we were very excited with the groove that was playing there. So we thought, why don't we just use one of that groove and try to make a song out of that? So this next one is called Bamba. It's just a song that we thought would sound good with the groove that we heard in Mexico. So this one sounds something like this. So if you guys can clap, it'll be nice. This is the clave. Thank you very much. Now this next one is something we wrote on the hills. So luckily Azim was carrying his sitar on the hills, and he got this new ditty that he played, and we made a song out of it using the groove from the hills. This one is called Pahadi, which is again another word for mountain. It sounds something like this. If you guys feel that you've been hearing too much of, you know, of your, it's sounding nice, you guys can shake your legs and shake your arms and feel free. All right? Thank you very much.
Thank
Right,
you.
we have, we'll be touring Europe the next summer, 2025, probably from July onwards, from June onwards exactly. So we'll play this last song for all of you. Hope you guys enjoy this last one.
I'm just afraid we're running out of time.
Okay.
So as much as we are loving your music and we wish you all the very best for your tour, unfortunately, because we have another plenary, we'll have to thank you. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Big, big round of applause. Thank you so much. The thing about music is you can just drift away. And our colleagues are telling us that we cannot drift away because there's another session happening. So thank you so much. And especially the Aas and the Ardas, which is so important for UND, the hope and the prayer for the future. So thank you there. Thank you there. Before we leave, I'm going to ask the SAPIX fellows to please come onto the stage, and also Atsuko and Mr. Sharp for a photograph, together with the UN colleagues, to please join on the stage for a photograph. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. थोड़ा सा उधर हो जाइए थोड़ा सा. For his final words. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roderico, and thank you to all for joining us today for the UN celebration. I'd like to take the opportunity to quickly thank all of today's speakers and all of our speakers over the last 9 days. In addition, I'd like to thank India's Department of Telecommunication and events company Expro for their excellent support in helping to make the stage a success, and a round of applause to our talented audio-visual team who made all of this possible. Thank you very much. The Digital Wave stage has in total brought together 52 speakers from over 20 nationalities, with over 30% of those being women. We have explored topics such as AI, quantum, cybersecurity, blockchain, IoT, and smart cities, optical communications, combating e-waste, and crucially, how standards can contribute to bridging the digital divide. ITU remains committed to supporting the development of these technologies with the aim of ensuring that these benefit all communities. And finally, thank you to you, our audience, for having participated in the Digital Wave Stage program. Thank you and have a wonderful day.